I'm Chris Jenkins with Charlotte Vibe, Wednesday, November 20th with your Carolina Panthers report. So I always like to start with the injury report, and it's one of the shorter ones that we've had all season. Only two guys on the did not participate list. One was Ross Cockrell with a quad, and the other was Gerald McCoy with a knee. So we did have a few guys that were limited participants in practice. Those would be Dennis Daly, tackle, Eric Reed, safety, Shaq Thompson, linebacker, and then we also had Brian Burns, which was a full participant in practice there, who struggled all season with that club over his hand. He now has that off. So one of the guys that was not on that list that has been a lot was Christian McCaffrey. Normally he'll get this rest day, and he didn't have a rest day, and it was pretty impressive that he chose not to have that rest day. He specifically told the coaches that he didn't want to be limited, he didn't want a rest day, and I think that's pretty impressive, and it shows this guy's heart and determination, because right now this team is 5-5, and Christian could very well say, hey, let me go ahead and take a breather, and be very justified in doing so, but he was out there today. So next up was talking to Coach Ron Rivera himself, and deservedly so, with a lot of merit. A lot of the talk has been about Kyle Allen. Guy had a hot start, and then the last 3 of the 4 games he's lost, and in those losses he's thrown 9 interceptions. So there's been a lot of talk about Will Grier, 3rd-round draft pick, getting him some time. So today Ron Rivera talked a little bit more at length about why Kyle Allen is getting an extended look and why Will Grier isn't.
The preference is, we're going to play the best quarterback we have right now, and right now the guy who's playing really well for us has been Kyle. I mean, he's had a couple of tough games, but I don't think it's reflective of who he really is as a football player. And I think the thing we all, again, have to continue to remember is, this really is, he's only been our starting quarterback for 8 games, I think it is. So I think that's one thing too that we all got to, be realistic about. He's still growing, still learning. He still is a work in progress. There will be a point where he no longer will be a work in progress, but I don't think it's right now. And if Will gets an opportunity or doesn't, it's going to be based on what happens as we go along the season. I can't predict that, and I can't speculate on that. If he doesn't get any chances, that means Kyle's continuing to play well. He has a plan. I'm trying to speculate on Sean Payton and what his thought process is, but he's got more than one weapon. And so if you focus strictly on him, he's got Alvin Kamara. He's got Teddy Ginn. He's got a couple of tight ends that catch the ball well. He's got guys that can get vertical very quickly. So you have to be careful, and you got to pick your opportunities to do certain things against them. So you have to just know and anticipate, okay, he's got him over here. Hey, we can do this with our coverage. Hey, he's got him over here. We got to be alert to this. I mean, he really, what Coach Payton does is, is he really tasks you. And so, and he knows this, it makes you as a defensive coach, you have to really prepare for more than just one thing. And so that takes a little bit of your time, it takes a little bit of the player's time, as opposed to if you're preparing for somebody where, hey, he's always going to line up here, he's always going to line up there.
So there you have Ron Rivera, who talked about this New Orleans Saints offense and what you have to watch out for there. I also asked him about this defense and what he has to look for there, and he said it starts up front with these guys. He feels like their front 4 is pretty good. Their edge guys get vertical pretty well, but says the main guy you got to look out for is Cameron Jordan. He's a very, very versatile guy, and you really have to watch out where he's playing the entire time, almost the same that you have to do with Michael Thomas on the offensive side. And he said that they have in the secondary, they're pretty good there as well, have a bunch of first-rounders. He specifically mentioned from Ohio State, I don't know why, but they also have a very good secondary with a lot of first-rounders that you have to look out for. In this defense, they know how to step up. He said, when Drew Brees went out, not only did Bridgewater step in, but that defense stepped up. So he feels like those guys have the ability to turn it up, and it's a really good overall defense. So that's what you have to look out for on this New Orleans Saints team. Now moving on to the David Tepper meeting that he had the other day with a small group of media. Ron Rivera was asked his opinion on one of the things that Tepper talked about, which was the mediocrity. I got it right. I've said this is my 4th take trying to say that word, but the mediocrity that this team has had. He said that he feels like the owner said what he needed to say. He doesn't accept the mediocrity himself. The head coach Ron Rivera doesn't, and he expects that the owner wouldn't. And he also needs to do things that are going to get this fan base happy. So he understands that. Rivera said he's not been in the league. This is not his first rodeo. He's been in the league over 30 years, and he knows what is expected. So that will conclude your report for today. If you have not done so, please invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video. That's a good way to show some support and help other people find out about me, as well as leave a comment if there's something that I have not talked about today that you all would like to know about. Can't be the man of the people if I don't go and work for you. So leave those comments below, and I'll be sure to get to them. For Charlotte Vibe, I'm Chris Jenkins at Bank of America Stadium.